Hey guys, a big warm welcome back to the channel. I know what you're thinking. Was that an old clip with a Christmas tree on the back of his Ferrari, or has he managed to fix his daily driver? Well, all will be revealed in this episode, so grab yourself a coffee and enjoy. Okay, so I'm basically trying to work out whether this is a mechanical issue with the pin in our actuator, okay, or if what is causing this to happen. Okay, so number one, if we know our reverse is currently definitely slightly off, okay? And that is, 100 is, let's say, up there. I'm at 403 and I need to raise this. This is obviously driven by the little cam on the end of here, which hooks on, this splits apart. And this is the little gear, which is the pin that got replaced, okay? So I can understand if, I don't know which way this will be, but let's say the pin was not going down to a full motion stop there. Let's say it was just there, yeah? That in turn would not send this all the way up here correctly, okay? My issue is, this is what I'm trying to get my head around, is third and fourth gear position are our mid-range here, okay? Now one of mine is coming low, one of it's coming high, okay? So mid-range in here, to get that to work on the cam, fitted to that on the shaft, is going to be kind of midway here. So what would cause this to fluctuate, one being high and one being low? That's the bit I'm trying to fathom in my head at the moment. Okay, so I looked at this, right, because there is nothing that would suggest from the pump side of things, if you look at the combination of the solenoids that are fired to achieve each of the gears, none of it corresponded with how this could be up or down. Yeah, it was either going to be up or down. So it looks like it should be a mechanical issue, which can really only be this. And obviously the engagement left and right, that's all okay. That was all within tolerance. It was all to do with the selector, so where this position was, up or down, whether or not it would slot into each of those forks. So it was either down, slightly down here, or slightly up. So instead of hitting sixth, it would hit an engaged fourth, right? So that's all to do with this motion, which is controlled by this little cam thing that I had problems with before. So this is my old one. So what I did was I stripped it all apart. The cam in that down there was extremely good, really fluid motion, no problems at all. So I looked at all this, checked it all, everything here looked okay. Then looked at this and felt this motion here and compared it to the other one. Now that you can't really see, but it's extremely notchy and tight, whereas the other one, again, just flowed nice and smoothly. So what I did, put the other one and mated it together with the good one of these, which is that down there now, okay? So in theory, that, again, there's many theories along the way on this thing, should have worked. Now, the problem I've got is I've taken a step backwards because, again, my selector will work, sorry, my engagement pin will work left and right, no problem. This doesn't even move at all. So what controls that is the hydraulic lines which fire the pin in here and fire, there's two things, there's two channels, there's EV 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Some of them fire this thing, which fires the pin here, that way. The other ones fire the motion of this, up and down. So I think this is where I'm at now. This must be something to do with these lines, which again, I ran the line from here all the way down to here. And that's where I think I'm gonna just have to take the whole lot apart. I did struggle putting them on yesterday, so maybe they're so fragile. If you twist them, it's gonna cause a problem. So that's what I need to do. Okay, one thing I've just realized is I am probably also gonna have to bleed the clutch F1 fluid, which is down there with that pipe connected to it. Let's see if we can get better. There we go, this block here. The reason being is, and there's a little bleed nipple on the end. The reason being is obviously I had a leak in the system, so chances are I've got air in here as well, so let me try bleeding that and see what happens. Let me share with you the two main driving factors that I'm persevering with this fix. Number one is knowledge. Knowledge is power. No one really dissects these F1 systems, and to be able to share that with you guys is going to help out people in future. Not only that, these are not just used on Ferraris. They're used on Maseratis, Lamborghinis, Astons, all of that same era. They all work in a very similar way. So that's number one. Number two is the most obvious point, and that is all to do with the cost of these things. If I took this through to Ferrari, they just changed the complete components. So they won't go down to small levels. They will swap out the complete actuator. And to give you an example, an actuator is £6,560, as you can see here on the screen. A surcharge, which I'm guessing is an exchange unit, £10,350. An example of EV lines, if you see these EV lines, they range from £649 through to over £800. The F1 power unit there, plus a pump. So if you added up the power unit, the pump, the lines and the actuator, that is almost £19,000 without VAT. And that is not taking into account any labour. Last time I checked, Ferrari are £185 plus VAT. So you get an idea. If I wanted to change that complete system, you are talking well over probably £25,000. So that's why I persevere with this. So again, that hasn't worked. I seem to have gone one step forward and two steps backwards. So let me explain what's happened. I've taken my Frankenstein actuator, what I call the Frankenstein. So that is made up of the newer replacement kind of cheap actuator I got. It's this side of it, so the fork side of it, with my old, what I call the hydraulic side. So it contains the pistons and all the hydraulic fluid. Because of the motion on that, I've put the two together. I have a very nice, what I think, well put together actuator now. So I've got nice motion, everything seems to work. My little cam gear in here works perfectly. Now I've put it in the car, bled it, done all the tests, done all the recentering, everything like that, self-learn. And what I'm getting now is I have got my engagement, so this fork pin here moving backwards and forwards, but I am not getting any motion on the selector. So I'll get a one time only, and then it will not move after that. Also, at the same time, I am able to push the selector. This is the rod for the selector. Normally, when it's under hydraulic pressure, it will be quite solid. I'm not able to, it's not solid basically. It's easy to move in and out, which tells me there's a hydraulic problem. So we are going to investigate that. It's obviously something that I've introduced to the car. Like I say, I have bled it several times. I've checked everything obvious. I cannot see it. So we're going to have to investigate further. So I'm determined this car is not going to beat me on this problem. The next thing I'm going to do, so we've got our actuator on, it's all set up. Like I say, it is not working correctly. We have no kind of hydraulic pressure for the selector. So I'm going to take out the complete F1 power unit with all the lines and really just have a look at it, start from fresh on that side of it. Again, I got a feeling something to do with the hydraulic lines, because remember I have just replaced the line for EV3 which was leaking, and maybe there is something I have done incorrectly. So let's rip that out and see what's going on. So as you can see, engine is pretty much stripped out of the back here. I decided to take all the airbox system out. That has really just enabled me to get a bit more access to all the hydraulic lines. I struggled before trying to do all that myself, just feeding them down this kind of sock hose, this protection thing. And rather than doing that, taking a little bit of extra time, got this removed, and hopefully it's going to make the job easier later down the line. Okay, so finally another bit of success with this one. Again, EV3, line for EV3. Look at that, I've taken it all out, I've pulled it out the sock, and I've got a complete kink in the line there. And hands up, this is 100% my doing. I have caused this. Like I said, I struggled to feed the line down, must have kinked it on the way, and that was obviously stopped any hydraulic fluid going down EV3. So rather than risk using that one again, I'm going to take another line off my spare one, put it on the power unit, and we'll see if that finally fixes the problem. We are starting to make some good progress here. Actuator is still off the side of the transmission, but watch this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and reverse. Well, there you go. So everything is engaging. All I need to do now is put the actuator on the side of the gearbox, and then I'll just need to go through a self-learn. If that passes, we are looking very good indeed. One thing I'm going to make use of as I've got this all stripped out is the space. We've got all the carbon trims off the side here. We've got all the airbox out of the system. So I'm going to give the engine bay a well overdue clean up quickly. Just get off some of that surface grime and dirt. As you can see here, down on the gearbox, all of this where we've spilt fluid over time. I'm also going to clean up all this sock because that is going to be soaked now with F1 fluid, and hopefully get this looking a little bit more tidy, a bit more presentable. It's not going to be perfect, it's just literally taking off all the surface stuff. Before I bolt the actuator on the side of the transmission and do its proper relearn, I'm going to do one off of the car so you guys can see exactly what's happening with the fork moving around to try and find the optimal position to select each gear. Have a look at this. Anyway, so next I am going to go through a self-learn, and we're going to just see if that makes any difference from what it did yesterday. Okay, so I'm going to watch my dashboard. I'm going to show you what's happening here. So first on the dashboard at the moment, third, fourth. So you get the idea, guys. I'm now going to bolt my actuator onto the side of the transmission, and hopefully it will behave in the same way it is off the car. Next, I'm just cleaning up the surface so I can apply a bead of gasket, and then we're going to just seal the two parts together. So we now have that nice clean bead of sealant, gasket seal. I'm just going to push these two together and bolt it all up. Well, there's nothing in the way. Back's in. And that's nice. Good fit. Good, right, so I'll just give that a little clean up, pull the bolts in. So I've got the actuator bolted on the car. We've done the relearn, we've done the centering, we've bled the system. I'm going to try a simple test. Engine not running, should be able to scroll through all of the gears. 1, looking good. 2, you can hear pressure build up, that's good. 3, 4, 5. Oh my gosh. Let's try reverse. Wow, hang on. That is the first time I've had all 6 gears. Okay, so the moment of truth. Let's fire it up. Let's see if it's worked. Fingers crossed. Starts up, always a good sign. Lights, camera, action. Okay, first gear, good. Good. We're all good. Just take it nice and slow. Should not be used for a little while. So far, so good, guys. Still steamed up back there, as you can see on the rear screen. I was determined to fix this car, so I've not had any lunch, nothing like that, so maybe we should celebrate with a little drive-through, right? Why not? I need to get sponsored for this. Problem with these straws, McDonald's is they're nice and environmentally friendly, but they don't last 5 seconds. Cheers, guys. Now that my Stradale is finally fixed, it leaves me one last job to do. That is give it a good clean, a good polish, drive it into this dehumidified heated garage, wrap it up in its clothes, and leave my garage queen Ferrari here to be admired in its safe environment. Who am I trying to kid? That's not my style. That Ferrari comes out rain, shine, or even snow. While most tuck their little precious supercars away when it snows, I prefer to have a bit of fun. Let's go and have some snow hunting. Well guys, that is it. The car is back where it should be. It's on the road. I cannot tell you how happy I am to have it back as my daily driver. Perseverance paid off. I was almost ready to throw the towel in on that one, so I am super stoked that we got it fixed. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget you can follow me on a daily basis on my Instagram. If you guys are interested in getting yourselves one of these brilliant computer systems, message me. I'll put the details in the description below to contact me. I'll tell you where you can get one of these. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you again shortly in the next one. Ciao for now. And for Peter, cheerio for now. Cheers.